In this video, we're going to take a look at the first grade standard for numbers and operations in base 10, number 5. This standard asks that students be given a 2-digit number and they should be able to mentally find what is 10 more or 10 less than that number without having to count. And they should also be given an opportunity to explain their reasoning. So what we're going to do is take a look at a task called the sounds of imaging numbers. In this task, 10 rods and single unifix cubes will be dropped inside a basket. Here you can see that we have a value of 64. Well, in the video, there's going to be 10 rods and single cubes dropped into a basket, and students need to mentally count up by tens and ones until the final cube is dropped in the basket. We'll then walk around the class and assess who was able to mentally add tens and ones.
All right, listen up. Go ahead, write your number down.
So we're looking to see who has 45 on their paper. So there were lots of students that were really close, and yeah, it's difficult not counting all the tens together first, jumping back by 10 and then adding a 1 and then adding 2 10s and then adding some more ones. It's difficult, but that's what the expectation of this standard is. And so here we can see that this young lady, Jasmine, she has 61. That's definitely not close to 45. Well, here I might want to dive down a little bit deeper and see, is it because Jasmine doesn't know how to add tens or subtract tens? Or is it because she just can't hear the 10 rods dropping? So here I'll go ahead and dive in a little bit deeper, maybe in a small group. So how could we differentiate for those students that were struggling mentally adding or subtracting tens? Well, we could use a hundreds chart, and students could go ahead and keep track of the count by using a single counter and moving along on the hundreds chart. Students could use sticks and dots and record down the numbers as they actually hear them. So if they hear a 10, they would draw a stick. If they hear a dot, they would draw a dot. Or students could model this thinking on a number line where they could do a big jump for 10 and a little jump for 1. Lots of different ways that we can build this understanding with this standard. So we've looked at what this looks like with addition. What might this look like with subtraction? And what's great about this task is as we begin to count forwards and backwards, we're building an understanding for another standard. Lots of these standards aren't taught in isolation. They're really all intertwined with one another. So here with NBT6, students subtract multiples of 10 in a range from 10 to 90. So it's the exact same standard, we're just thinking about subtraction. So let's take a look with the sounds of imaging numbers.
All right, what I want you to do is I want you to put the number 64 in your head. There's 64 on the table. I'm going to put some inside the basket. How many are left on the table? So picture that 64 in your head. Here we go, 64, and I'm going to start. How many are left on the table? Write that number down.
So this time we're looking for 22.
Do not kiss the brain. Not yet.
So as you can see, there were some students that were really close again, and some students that were off quite a bit. We can always dive down and see what's really happening with their thinking there. And for those students who continue to struggle or need some help, you're probably looking for a good resource. Well, Steve Wyborny has your back. What he's done is he's created these Maze 100 charts. He has some templates that you can use, or you can go online and create some of these maze puzzles yourself and print them out for your students to complete. The big piece here as we work through this standard is we want to make sure that we're not going ahead and basing everything off speed. It's really about building this understanding conceptually.